Welcome to the only tutorial you need to watch to get started with OBS Studio. I'm going over the settings, the graphics, and the alerts, and I will stick to the stuff you absolutely need to know, only the basics to get you started. However, we will build a complete stream. Now, before we dive into the settings, if you don't have stream graphics yet and you want your stream to look good, then you can always get the graphics pack from the main sponsor of this channel, which is Own.tv. Own.tv has a huge library of graphics packs that are of the highest quality and that are all completely animated. One of my favorite packs is the Dark series. When you're on the page of a specific graphics pack, you can click on Live Demo, and with this tool you can test everything that's inside of the pack. You can see how the alert looks, you can click on Overlays on the top and then on Scene Transition, and you will see exactly how it will look on your stream. My code TVN always has 50% off. I will link it in the description. Now, besides graphics, you can, for example, also find the emote makers. This is a static one, but this is an animated emote maker, and you can simply upload a picture from your PC. For example, this is a profile picture of mine, and just like that you can transform it into an animated emote. For example, money falling, or this here is pretty funny. It's like people can spam this, for example, if you lose a game, and you just select the ones you buy like this. The more you buy, the cheaper it gets per emote. The link is own.gg/tvn. So I just opened OBS Studio. Now, if you don't have it yet, go to obsproject.com, download it here, and if you did already install it, make sure you go to help and then check for updates and make sure that there is no update available. Now, the first thing I want you to do is to create a new profile here and then a new scene collection. I will go over what they do exactly later in the video, but basically it will reset your program. Let's call the profile OBS 2023. Click on OK. And basically this way you start with a blank slate like you just installed the program. And with the profile preset and the scene collection preset combined, you will basically have a complete preset of the program with your settings and all your graphics. So before we dive into the scenes and the sources and all that stuff, we need to set up the settings. They are the most important thing. On the right, you can go to settings, and I'm definitely not gonna go over everything right here, all the specific settings. You don't need a bunch of stuff here. This is a beginner tutorial. I'm gonna show you what you absolutely need to have a good stream and to go live a few times. And then once you get a feeling for it, you can dive into the settings and customize everything. But a lot of this stuff is extra. Now, the first place I want you to go is to the video tab, because right here you can set up your resolution and then your frame rate. Always set your resolution first and then do all the graphics. Now, to choose your resolution right here and then your frame rate, and then also in the output settings, the bitrate here, you probably heard about this before. All those settings that I just named are dependent on your PC power and then your internet speed. And actually the internet speed is the most important thing, because you can tweak the other settings to fit to your PC. So what you want to do is you want to do a speed test first. Now, you just type it in Google. There is a speed test from Google. You can also do this one here from Ookla. It's very popular, but I'm just gonna click on start speed test. Now, as you can see, this is my download speed. This here is my upload speed. And with this information, I can now choose in what resolution and what frame rate I want to stream. Now, the settings that you choose will depend on your platform, like Twitch, YouTube, Facebook Live. And the easiest way is to go to Google, type your platform, Twitch, YouTube, whatever, and then encoding chart streaming. So here we get different resolutions and frame rates, and then all the settings that you need to set up in order to make this resolution and frame rate work. So for example, 1080p 60 fps, we need an internet speed that supports a bitrate of 6000 kilobits per second. Now, if we go down to 720p 60 fps, we only need 4500. And this also works for YouTube. For example, YouTube encoding chart stream, you click right here, and then boom, we've got a bunch of different resolutions. 1080p 60 fps, let's check it here. They say this is your resolution, and then this here is your bitrate between 4500 and then 9000. So then you go back to your internet speed test, and you can see that your upload speed here is in megabits per second, while all of the options right here in the encoding charts are in kilobits per second. That's why we need 6000, and then my result is only 30. So it's pretty simple. You just type in the result that you get of your upload speed in megabits per second, and then you multiply it by 1000. And then this here is my upload speed in kilobits per second. So I can go to the encoding chart, and then I can see that my internet is way faster than what I need, so I could comfortably stream in 1080p 60 fps. Now, there's one really important thing, and it's the reason that a lot of people have a stream that's lagging. Let's say that my upload speed here was 6 megabits per second. Well, then I would go to the calculator, and my result after multiplying it would be this here, 6000 kilobits per second. Now, I could say, well, I need 6000 here for 1080p 60 fps, so my internet can handle it. However, if you enter that speed in OBS Studio, then it means that your stream will be using all the data that you have, and then any other thing everything that's happening on your internet, whether it's you playing Spotify, your sister watching Netflix, your mother that's playing Candy Crush, everything that's happening on your internet will make the usage peak above your maximum speed, and that will mean that your stream will be lagging. So when you have your result of your upload speed, multiply it by 0.8, which means that you keep 20% for other stuff on your internet, and then the result of that is what you should actually use to stream. So if your result is 4800, you will not be able to stream in 1080p 60 FPS. So you could choose to stream in 1080p 30 FPS because then you need 4500, and we do have that available. Or you could say I really want 60 FPS to make my stream really smooth because I'm playing FPS games. So in that case, you could stream in 720p 60 FPS because then you need 4500. Now you get the point. Choose your frame rate, choose your resolution, and then we can set up all the other stuff. I'm gonna choose to stream in 1080p here. You make both of these resolutions the same thing. It's the most optimal thing to do. And then I'm gonna choose to stream in 60 FPS. Now, besides our resolution and then our frame rate here, we also had the bitrate, and we do set this up in the output tab here. This is the most complicated tab by far. You wanna change the output mode to advanced, and then we have the streaming settings, recording, audio, and replay buffer. We stay in the streaming tab, and then right here you can set your bitrate. This was your internet speed. I'm gonna choose 6000. If you wanna squeeze out a bit more, you can go to 8000. And if you don't see this bitrate option here, make sure your rate control is set to CBR, which means constant bitrate, which means that your bitrate will always be the same. Now, before I dive into all these settings here, I wanna go to the audio tab because this is pretty straightforward. If you want your viewers to hear the game you're playing or the music that's playing on your PC, you just change the desktop audio here to default, and then this will add your default audio device, which is probably your headphones that you are using to listen to your game or to your music. OBS will add this device to the stream. Now, if you don't know what it is, if you go to the bottom right of your screen, you press the audio icon. This is your default audio device. You can also right click it and then go to open sound settings, and then right here you see the same thing. Now, if this doesn't work for some reason, you can always click it in OBS Studio, and then you can choose another audio device on your PC to add to the stream. For example, your speakers. I don't know where your game is going. And then under mic auxiliary audio, you can add your microphone. So in my case, it's microphone beacon mic. And if we click on OK now, you will see that both audio devices will be added here in the mixer. You can change the volume of your desktop audio. You can change the volume of your microphone. And something very useful, if you click on the three dots next to the microphone and you go to advanced audio properties, then here you can see the same audio devices, right? But here in the row of your microphone, you can see audio monitoring, and then you can change the microphone to monitor and output. And what this will do is make sure that you can hear your microphone, so that way you can test if it sounds good. Now, I'm gonna turn it off for a second because I was hearing myself double, but if you cannot hear your microphone after doing this, you just wanna go to the settings and back to the audio tab where we did add our mic here. And if you scroll down a bit, you will see monitoring device. And this is the device that will be used to monitor whatever you choose to monitor. If you could not hear your microphone, you can always change this here to your headset or your speakers or whatever, and then that audio device will be used to monitor your mic. By the way, real quick, before we move away from the microphone here, this is really important. We did click on the three dots here, right? But you can also see filters. Now, this is a place where you can add a bunch of filters here that will make your microphone sound better. It will make sure that your microphone is never too loud, that it's never too quiet. You can add noise suppression here. You can add a noise gate. There's a bunch of stuff you can do right here. Now, this is way too in-depth for this video, but I did recently make a video on it. You can see it here on my channel. This here is the video I'm talking about. I will link it in the cards and in the description. It's an amazing video. You absolutely need to watch it if you want to sound good on stream, because as you will read in the comments of that video, it makes a huge difference. Now, let's go back to the settings, to the audio tab, so we can set up the graphics and the alerts. Make sure you are in the advanced tab, you're in the streaming tab. Now, here you see audio track, and this way you can choose an audio track that will be sent to your stream. Now, this here could cause some problems for some people. If we go back here to the audio mixer, we click on the three dots and then advanced audio properties, you will see the tracks on the right here. So these are the same tracks here, and you will see them for each audio device. And so as you saw in the settings, let me go back real quick. We did choose audio track 1 to go to the stream. So in that case, in the advanced audio properties, you want to make sure that track 1 is selected for the devices that you want to go to the stream. If you deselect one for the microphone, then your desktop audio, your game and stuff will be going to the stream, but the mic won't. So make sure you select all of this. And then let's go back to the settings, to the output settings. Now, what you see below this, the encoder, this is the really tricky part. So for me right now, there are two options, right? NVIDIA Nvenc, this will use my NVIDIA GPU. This is the preferred choice. If you have an NVIDIA GPU that has this Nvenc option, you absolutely should use it. It will mean that all the encoding will be done by a separate chip on your GPU, and it will not tax your GPU, not tax your CPU. It's amazing. However, if you don't have an NVIDIA GPU, that's where all the problems start. For me right now, the only other option is X264. This is also very popular, and what this does is it uses your CPU CPU to do the encoding, so your processor. Now, depending on the GPU or CPU that you have, you will see other options here. For example, if you have an AMD GPU, you will see AMD encoding right here, just like I see NVIDIA encoding because I have an NVIDIA GPU. However, the AMD encoding isn't nearly as good as the NVIDIA encoding, so if you have an AMD GPU, it might be better to just use your CPU. However, if your CPU is very crappy, it will be very hard to encode the stream, so in that case, it would be better to just do the encoding with your AMD GPU. It might not be as good as NVIDIA encoding, but it will be better than choosing x264 and then doing the encoding with your CPU if it's extremely crappy. Then there's also processors that have separate encoding options. For example, Intel has QuickSync. That could also be a better option. So what I'm gonna do for this tutorial is I'm gonna go over NVIDIA Nvenc and then x264 encoding. So NVIDIA Nvenc will use your NVIDIA GPU. This is the preferred option. If you have an NVIDIA GPU, you can skip to this time in the video, and then x264 will use whatever CPU you have. So for the unlucky people who don't have an NVIDIA GPU, I will go over the x264 settings. So the rate control was set to CBR when we chose our bitrate here. If you skip the part where I went over the bitrate and resolution, make sure you go back because it's extremely important. Then you want to set the keyframe interval to 2. I'm gonna skip this for a second. This is really important, but the rest is easy because you can set the profile to high and then you don't need to touch the tune, and also not this right here. So then the last thing to set up for x264 is the CPU usage preset. Now this will entirely depend on the power of your CPU. So what you need to know is the highest setting right here, so the fastest, ultra fast, is the lowest quality setting, but it will also be the easiest to run for your CPU, for your processor. Now usually these two settings are very crappy and you want to try not to touch them, so the lowest you want to try to set it to is very fast. And at this point you want to test what works for your PC. Now we need to set up the game and the alerts and all that stuff, so what I recommend to you is set it to very fast for now, then follow the rest of the tutorial, and when you've set up the graphics and all that stuff, then you can do a test stream and then check out. If you press Ctrl Shift Escape on your keyboard, you can go to the performance tab, and then right here you will see your CPU usage. Now make sure that you open this before you do the test stream, then you do the stream, and immediately after you come back here and you will see the history of your CPU. Now if you saw that the usage was very low, then you know that you can handle more, so you can go right here and you can set it to faster, for example, or fast, or medium. Now usually medium is the highest setting that's recommended to set it to, because if you go higher than medium to slow and slower and stuff, these are very taxing for your PC and usually not worth the hassle. So basically you want to choose between very fast, faster, fast, and medium. So I'm gonna set it to very fast for now. You should do the same, finish the video, and then test which setting you should use, very fast, faster, fast, or medium. Now I'm gonna go over the Nvenc settings now, so you can go to this time in the video or just skip to the next chapter. Now if you're amongst the lucky ones and you have an NVIDIA GPU, then you want to choose NVIDIA Nvenc. So in case you missed it, most NVIDIA GPUs have a separate Nvenc chip, and that chip takes care of the encoding. Now the newer your NVIDIA GPU will be, the better that chip will be, and the better the quality of your stream will be. If your NVIDIA GPU is really old, it might be the case that you don't have this Nvenc chip. In that case, you won't be able to choose this setting. Now you don't want to select rescale output, you don't want to choose the resolution here. You absolutely want to do it in the video tab right here. Then make sure the rate control is set to CBR and that you chose your bitrate right here. We did choose 8000 before. We actually only needed 6000 for 1080p 60 FPS. This is extremely important, so go back in the video if you did skip it. Then you want to set the keyframe interval to 2 seconds. You want to skip the preset for a second. The tuning, this can be set to high quality. Then the multipass mode, I wasn't entirely decided on this, but I did watch an Epoch's Vox video where he did a very in-depth comparison, and he said that the single pass is what you should actually take because all the other modes are very taxing for your PC and they are not worth the hassle. The profile, you just want to leave this at high. You want to make sure look ahead is disabled. You want to enable psycho-visual tuning, and then you can leave the GPU at 0 and the max B frames to 2. Now the last setting that you need to set up is the preset here, and this is the same thing as I did explain before for software x264 for CPU encoding. The fastest you select right here, so the higher in the list, the lower the quality of the stream will be, but the easiest it will be for your PC. Now just like with CPU encoding, you want to play around with this and you want to see what your PC or your graphics card can handle. So if you press Ctrl Shift Escape on your keyboard, you can go to the performance tab, and then right here you can check your CPU usage, your memory, but then also your GPU usage. And this is a great example. I'm recording my screen right now and I'm encoding with my GPU. So encoding is basically taking everything that you're recording with OBS and then compressing it into a file to either be sent to the stream or in this case to be recorded to my PC. And I'm using 84% of my GPU right now. Now let's say you were testing and you did set the quality to fast, for example, and then after your test stream you see that you were using 84% of your GPU. You probably don't want to increase this quality here to something like medium or slow, for example, because that will obviously throttle your GPU, your PC in general, and everything everything will start lagging. So what you want to do right now is you want to follow this tutorial to the end till you've set up the graphics, the alerts, like all that stuff, and you're ready to do a test stream. Then you press Ctrl Shift Escape. You go to the performance tab and you click on GPU. And then at that point you can do your test stream, and then after it you immediately go back to this task manager here and you will see the history of the encoding usage. Now if you see that there's some room left, you can increase the quality. If you see that it was peaking at 100%, you can obviously reduce it a bit, and that way you can choose the perfect preset right here. Now as I said, I'm not gonna go in depth on all these specific settings here. However, something you should check out is the hotkeys, because let me try to take this. If you do not have a Stream Deck, which is extremely useful for streaming, however it is expensive and it's a luxury product, if you don't have a macro device like that, you will probably want an easy way to switch your scenes, to go from starting soon to in-game, or to a pause screen when you go to the toilet, for example, or to go to a full screen webcam scene and then go back to the gaming scene when your game starts. If you scroll down in the hotkeys here, you will see a title for every scene that you have. Now on the left here we only have one scene. I'm gonna quickly make a new one, call it in-game for example, click on OK. So now when I go back to the settings and then to the hotkeys tab and I scroll down, I'm still seeing scene right now but also in-game. So those are the two scenes that we have here on the left. I'm gonna choose a hotkey for both of these scenes here, click on OK, and then now as you can see on the left within the scenes, I can use my buttons on my keyboard to switch between the scenes. So what's left now is adding your game, your webcam and everything that you want, then adding your alerts, and then also setting up the stream tab so you can actually go live. However, since pretty much all of you are aspiring creators and you should absolutely be growing a YouTube channel, I want to show you this tool that I've been using for a very long time and for which I've got a huge discount code for you. Now this is an AI powered YouTube tool. There's an AI coach as you can see here on the top, but I did actually use their keyword research tool to research this video that you're watching right now, and I'm gonna show you why. So I did type in OBS guide because I wanted to research the title I was gonna use for this video. However, look at this, the phrase OBS guide has only 4,300 searches each month. However, if you look at the title of this video, it's OBS Studio Tutorial, and watch this. Let's search. Boom, 208,000 times each month. And look at this, I'll give you a sneak peek into my analytics to prove that it works. So the first part of the title is to grab people's attention. However, what comes after that is purely for the algorithm. So what the algorithm will be reading here is OBS mic settings. I did type this into vidIQ and I saw that it had a very high search volume and also a very low competition. And look at when I go to my analytics to reach, and then on the bottom here you can see the search terms that people are using to find your video, and look at the most popular one, OBS mic settings, 6.8%. Researching my keyword in vidIQ and then actually using it in the title made a huge difference for the performance of the video. And as I said before, I did partner up with them. I have a personal landing page. I will show it on the screen and link it in the description. You can get 1 month for $1 only. So if you have any intention of growing on YouTube and trying to make money with it, there is no reason not to pay $1 to test this out. The AI coach on the top is based around ChatGPT, and you can use this to get video ideas, come up with titles, help with scripting, and you can check it out yourself with my link in the description. Now, I did already show you how to make specific scenes here. So you click on the plus icon, you choose a name, click on OK, and you've got another scene. And what these are basically folders that hold all your sources next to it. So the sources, that's stuff like adding your game, adding a browser source, adding your overlays, your webcam, your alerts. For example, display capture, this is just capturing your screen. Let's click on OK. Now it's way too big, we will fix this later. But as you can see, this is now in the in-game scene. If I go to the other scene, then the sources are empty again because we did add it in this scene. Now there's a bunch of stuff you can add here in the scenes, pretty much everything. But what you can't add is your alerts and your labels, for example. However, I'm gonna show you a very easy, very straightforward, very fast way to do that. You go to Stream Elements on Google, you click on the website, and then you will have to log in with your streaming account, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, whatever. I logged in with YouTube. I go to the dashboard, and then on the left you can click on Streaming Tools and then on Overlays. Now I made a bunch of overlays here to test and stuff for tutorials in the past, but you just click on New Overlay on the top, you choose your resolution, take your streaming resolution, in my case 1080p, you click on Start, and then now this here is basically an empty canvas. So on the bottom you can click on the plus icon, and here you can add a bunch of stuff, and adding alerts is as easy as hovering them and then just clicking on alert box, and then boom, these are your alerts. They are standard alerts that are set up here. So on the bottom you see emulate, and here you can emulate an event, for example subscriber event, that's a new subscriber on YouTube in my case, and boom, this will be the alert for it. If someone sends a super chat of $50, for example, I just click on it, it will go to the queue, and then boom, next to alert, super chat, $50. And to add this to your stream, it's extremely easy. Simply click on save here. For example, let's call it alerts. You click on save, and then on the top, you will be able to copy the overlay URL. You click on it, and then boom, copy to clipboard on the bottom. So then you go back to OBS Studio. I'm gonna delete the display capture here. That was just a test. So we are in the in-game scene here. I'm gonna go to the sources, click on the plus icon, and then to add a URL that you get from any tool that you use online, you will always use a browser source. I'm gonna call it alerts. Click on OK, and then it will ask you for a URL. Now we paste the URL that we just copied on Stream Elements. We set our resolution that we chose on the website, which was 1080p, and then we just click on OK. And now this red box here, this is the same canvas that we saw online here with the dots. So this is 1080p, as you can see. And so since we positioned our alerts in the middle here, they will also appear on the stream in the middle of this red box, because the box on Stream Elements is exactly the same here in OBS. So I'm gonna put this on the left and then Stream Elements on the right. I'm gonna make this box smaller here, because then you will definitely see it. I'm gonna click on emulate and then on subscriber event, and boom, it's triggering in the middle of the box here, just like it is here on the website. Boom, I did not trigger this, so this is probably a real subscriber that subscribed right now on the channel. I'm gonna right click this box, boom, another one. Okay, I'm gonna right click the box here. In OBS, go to transform and then fit to screen, and then it will automatically fit to the 1080p. What is happening? And another what is happening? Now, this is a very easy way to add your alerts on the stream, and if you wanna add labels, for example, latest subscriber in this case, since people are subscribing at a very fast pace, I can go to labels here, subscriber, and then here, latest subscriber. So now I have the alerts right here, and then also this label for the latest sub. And as you can see, I got a new subscriber called Saint, and the label for the latest sub also changed. Boom, it changed again. I'm gonna click on save, and then it's gonna be the same thing again. We see the latest sub here on the top left, and then the alerts right here. You can reposition them based on your overlay. Click on save, and then you've got your alerts and your labels in OBS Studio. Now, if you want to add your webcam, you click on the plus icon and you go to video capture device. This is to add a video capture device, which is going to be your webcam. And I don't have one connected to this PC right now. But for example, I'll got a virtual webcam. This is a placeholder, but this is going to be your webcam. So you position it, for example, here in the corner. And then if you want to add your game, there are 3 ways to add your game. This is really important. So there's display capture, there's game capture, and then there's also window capture. Now, what you choose depends on your game. The best thing to use is game capture right here. This is the most optimal for your PC. You just click on it and then you change it to capture specific window, and then the window will be your game that you select. For example, calculator. I'm not sure if it's gonna work. Let's click on OK. And as you can see, it didn't work in this case. Now, this will happen to some games. Most games will be able to be captured with this. But for example, the game CSGO will do the same thing as the calculator right now. It will not show it game capture. So what you can do in that case is use window capture instead. And this does the same thing, but it can capture any window on your PC. For example, here, my browser, I can change it to calculator. Boom, I've got a window capture of my calculator right now. Now, if game capture or window capture don't work, or if you just want to record your whole screen, then you want to choose display capture, and this will simply capture your whole screen. So as you can see, I can choose my monitor right here. This is the monitor I'm using to record this video, and it will be very big, the capture. So you either rescale it like this and then try to fit it, or you right click it here or right click it in the sources and then go to transform and then fit to screen, and boom, it will fit. And then this way you capture the whole screen. This will work for any game that's being displayed on your monitor. However, it's not optimal. So if you're able to use game capture, absolutely do it. It's the best for your PC. If not, try window capture, and if that doesn't work, use display capture. And something very important to know, you can always hold Alt on your keyboard and then cut off a side from the source. Same thing for the window capture here. If you want to cut out the top, do it like this. Let's move it back. And if you hold shift on your keyboard, then you can change the aspect ratio. Now, I'm not sure why you would do it, but you can. Now, if you have an overlay, for example, if you bought an overlay from the sponsor in this video from the intro, or if you found a free overlay online, or you have your own one, then you can either add an image source if it's a static overlay, or use a media source if it's an animated overlay. So Own.tv, the sponsor of this video, has animated overlays. In that case, you want to choose media source and then just browse for all the sources and add them to your screen. I mean, I could go to videos and then just add a video here, and then boom, this video would be playing. Now, if you have an animated overlay, it will be a very short video file that's gonna have to loop. Now, by default, if the video is done playing, it will simply shut off and never play again. So what you want to do is you double click the media source and then you enable loop here. You will have to do this for any animated overlay. Click on OK, and then once your short animated file is ended, it will just start replaying again. I'm gonna delete this. If you have a static overlay like a lot of people, you just choose the image source, you click on browse, go to pictures, for example. Let's add this picture here, click on OK, and then boom, that way you can just add an overlay file. Let's say that this was our banner, boom. Now the last thing you will need to do to go online is the streaming tab, because you will need to set your stream key or login in order to connect OBS Studio to Facebook or to YouTube or to Twitch or whatever you're using. However, this is a tricky one because it's different for any platform. Let's go to the streaming tab here. So under services, you can see everything. You can see Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. If you click on show all, there's a bunch more options here. You can also choose custom and set it up. Now, if you want to stream on Twitch, you can simply connect your account, click on start streaming, and you will simply go online. However, the other popular options are YouTube and Facebook, and they require a bit more setup. Now, the way this works changes all the time. It wouldn't be really productive to add it to this video here because it would be outdated really quickly. So if you stream on YouTube or on Facebook, just research online how to connect OBS to YouTube, OBS to Facebook, and then you will get an up-to-date explanation. Now, the video you see next to me is really important, and it should be the next video that you're watching, because besides setting up all these streaming settings, you also want to set up your microphone filters. They are really important. They will make any microphone sound better. A cheap mic will sound good. A good mic will sound amazing. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and I hope I will see you in the next one. Have a nice day.